Thank you.
I'd like a member of the panel to elaborate on how it is that how it came about that as you stated earlier, that the Wall Street banks caused the problems that you're now discussing in Greece.
Sure.
Well, we all know that securitization of the housing mortgages, which were junk, basically, and put into the financial system, caused the crisis. We know that. We know the root causes. But having said that, some of the behaviors and the legalities of things that should have been shored up in this country have not been done. The Dodd-Frank Act is not complete. We can't even get our hands around the VOCA rule about shorting your own instruments.
But how did that affect Greece, Tom?
Well, I mean, you have to do a bit of work to draw the connection. I mean, it's not a coincidence that the Eurozone crisis erupted in 2010, which less than 2 years after the collapse of Lehman Brothers. But I mean, let's not forget that Greece was always living on borrowed time. It was running up. The trigger for its crisis was the revelation that a government that had recently been voted out of office had been lying about the budget deficit that Greece had run up, and it turned out it was running vast deficits. It was living way beyond its means. It had growth that was completely unsustainable. If you look at other countries that fell into trouble, like Ireland and Spain, a huge housing bubble was developed there as a result of credit that poured in from Germany and other countries. You had very dodgy relationships between politicians, housing developers, and banks. So, I mean, lots of these problems were homegrown. The trigger may have come from what happened in 2007, 2008. But it's not a coincidence that the countries that ended up with bailouts had been, in various different ways, engaged in all sorts of questionable activities in the run-up to their respective crises.
And we had two emails here, really related. The first says, hold on, how is it not partially the fault of the Greeks? Retirement at 50? Short work week. Has everyone forgotten about that and just taken the easy route to blame it on the banks? And another from Kill Devil Hills in North Carolina. Is there still a major problem with compliance in the Greek economy? And is tax compliance or the lack thereof one of the major original contributing factors to Greece's woes?
I don't think the issue is totally tax avoidance or tax evasion. What really needs is tax reform of its system. There are many instances in which the Greek taxpayer pays taxes on revenues that it doesn't receive, income that it doesn't get. For example, there's a tax that was going to eliminate called the infiat tax, and that's just possession of real estate. And in order to make up the value of real estate, they consider what an empty piece of property would have paid the owner in rent, and they get taxed on that.
Well, we shall see what happens in the next couple of days. Thank you all so much, Nicholas Karambulas, the American Hellenic Institute, Ramon, the George Washington University, and Tom Nuttall, Brussels correspondent for The Economist. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening all. I'm Diane Rehm.
The Diane Rehm Show is produced by Sandra Pinkert, Denise Couture, Susan Casey, Rebecca Kaufman, Lisa Dunn.
What the fuck are they talking about? Oh, mother.
European core tell us a big story about what's happening in European politics over recent years, and I don't think that we've really seen any mainstream parties show that they know how to respond to it.
So, what happens, Scheherazade, if the Greek government and the Prime Minister sign a deal?
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If they sign the deal, they will split their own party. And the future of the PM is at stake. And I do believe that you will have, like I mentioned earlier, probably some elections later in the year.
Well, but tell me, what could happen with a snap election?
At this point, anything.
What do you mean?
I mean that we could have any other fringe government in there promising a silver bullet to fix the problems of this year. Which are not fixable in the short run. This is a long-term economic plan that has to be put into place by a mature government that understands how to manage the credit risk.
Do you see any reflections of what's happening in Europe to what's happening here in this country?
Well, there is a very big risk in the Western world, and that is governance failure. And we are watching that in Europe, but it's happened here as well. We are absolutely stuck. We have very little movement in the budget. We have austerity measures that we have to take, infrastructure investments. None of that has moved here.
Do you agree?
Yes, and I think also if there are snap elections, which I think is likely as well, there are basically two ways it would go. Optimistically, it might be a broad front of parties that get together and show some national unity in terms of dealing with this problem. On the other hand, it may just be a completely fragmented political parties across the board, none of them show any kind of basis for a negotiation.
All right, to Corey in Lafayette, Louisiana. You're on the air.
Hi. Basically, in thinking about this issue that's happening in Greece and reflecting, as some of the panelists have, on how America is heading for a cliff in relation to our national debt. It seems to me adding $3.3 billion a day to our national debt is not a healthy, it won't be a healthy outcome. So, just to the panelists, I mean, what do you think is the solution here? It seems to me that government, as well as banks and finance companies, are responsible for causing these problems, but it doesn't seem like there's too many voices out there sounding the alarm for this cliff that we're heading off of.
Well, I mean, I can't really speak to the American situation, although one comparison you might make is to look at the performance of the American economy versus the Eurozone economy since 2008, which obviously is a cataclysmic time for both parts of the Western world. The American economy has roared ahead of the Eurozone economy. Unemployment is a fraction of what it is across the Eurozone. Now, within the Eurozone, obviously, there is wide variation. Unemployment is very low in countries like Germany and the Netherlands, but in some countries, and not only Greece, you have unbelievable figures. You have Spain, which has unemployment of over 20% of the workforce for several years. Now, you have Italy, which has basically not grown its economy for over 10 years. And so I think some questions might need to be asked about why it is that the Eurozone, the parts of the Eurozone, have proved so unable to find ways to grow their economies, to create jobs for people, particularly for young people, to break down two-tier labour markets, whereas the United States, or parts of the United States, don't seem to have experienced the same difficulties.
How would you respond to that, Harris?
Well, it's all relative, and the markets have this undying optimism on the American economy. To make this point, during the worst years of our crisis in 2009, more money actually poured into this country than before the crisis. So really it is relative to Europe. The markets see us as a growth engine and see us much more flexible in the face of adversity than the Europeans. Hence, we are in a better position.
All right, so let's look at worst case scenario. scenario. Suppose the Greek government has to exit from the Eurozone, cannot pay its debts, and switches back to the drachma. You're squinching your face, Scheherazade.
That is just an awful scenario.
Why?
Because the Greeks are locked out effectively of the global capital markets. No one's going to lend to them at anything reasonable. They will simply get themselves into more and more debt. The only option